Tell me, for 2014, what do you expect to happen? What's your take on what 2014 is going to be like? And if I'm a business owner, what's the question I need to be asking myself about what I need to understand about 2014?
I'm not sure that we're going to see much difference in 2014 as we saw from 2013. We're seeing a good calendar coming up. We're seeing good inquiries and so on. But I don't see 2014 being a cusp year of the year that everything changed. You know, some external force could happen. The Chinese could get crazy in their new defense zone. You never know. You can't predict those. You know, you have to continue.
Yeah. But you're seeing an indicator. You're seeing is that lead times are up. You're booking into 2014 further than you did from 2012 to 2013.
And prior to that, yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Good. What are you seeing, Rusty?
I'm seeing a little renewed interest in multi-year contracts. You know, the last few years I've seen people that were afraid to lock in, you know, whether it's somebody that's a middle management person in charge of an event or whatever, that they might have been afraid to commit for the company in the past. And now they're going, I can lock in some savings if I sign these guys up for 3 years right now. And, you know, we didn't stop asking if we could, you know, by dropping the question out there for people if they wanted to do it. But I see more people okay with the concept again and wanting to do it. And I think regardless of our political situation, you know, sequesters and shutdowns and all of this thing, that business in America has found a way to get past the political problems in our country and be successful still. And I think that's just due to the adaptability of small business owners in America, and I'm pretty proud to be a part of it.
Well said. Well said. Mark, what do you see for 2014, or what are the questions that you're asking?
Well, you know, we're trying to make sure that we're just a little more deliberate about our forecasting this year. You know, we had a big change in strategy that narrowed our focus to just very large accounts last year, and we had a misstep. We just forecasted a lot of this wrong, and so we're trying to build just better discipline into that process. And the pipeline looks great. It looks like we're going to have a great year. I think what we're trying to do is, and I know we're in a little bit different business than other folks in this industry, is try to understand there's a whole lot of things that are outside of the presentations and the shows, but they're happening on trade show floors, they're happening among attendees. Event technology is changing very quickly. Old devices are being, you know, device manufacturers like lead retrieval companies and kiosk companies are being replaced by new software, new technologies, new equipment, and we want to figure out where our wedge is inside of there and get a significant part of that pie.
Okay. Well, to summarize, if the question is, you know, what are the leading indicators that I as a business person need to pay attention to? I just heard 3 great ones, which is we have lead times are up, people are asking about multi-year contracts, and technology is changing. And for all of us tech heads, changing technology means money. Okay, that's excitement, that's reasons to much easier to differentiate yourself if technology is changing.
Right. But Tom, one of the other things I look at closely is hiring, especially anecdotally, especially into those middle level management positions that are the people that we work with on a day-to-day basis. You know, I think 2014 is going to be a lot like 2007, because I think what happened in 2008 when the recession hit, that middle level of management got decimated. And now that they're coming back, upper level management can deal with long-term contracts, whereas before they were just dealing with what's the next thing on my plate.
Good point.
I've lost one of my leading economic indicators out there in that we moved our building to a new part of town, so my drive to work, I don't go by the UPS hub in the morning anymore. because I used to drive to work and count brown trucks on the road coming the other way. And if it was 40 to 45, business was pretty standard. If I got to 60, if it was in the 50s and 60s of brown trucks going by, then business is good.
Well, what did we just hear? We heard that lead times are up. We've got changing technology again, which is kind of refreshing. We've got renewed interest in long-term contracts of all things. There's changes in the job market and who are available. These are all signs, according to our panel, of a better economy, and that's a great thing. Now, 2014 is clearly an ongoing growth year. This is not a new growth year. 2013 was also a good year, and I think the panel is very clear about that. This is not what I would call a new horizon. This is an opportunity to continue making money in a strong economy. In this kind of year, when revenue is up, but your infrastructure and overhead costs should be pretty much the same. You've got work in the pipeline, which means that you can plan a little bit further ahead. In other words, this is the kind of year that you make money at. So that's where I think you need to be focused on, is finding the money in 2014, making up some of the lost ground of years past, and creating a fund for growth if we see a sudden uptick in growth. Now, this comment here about the lead times being up, and lead times being up is a good thing. As the economy increases, people start planning farther ahead. But I can't overemphasize how important it is to recognize that lead times are also shrinking continually. We've seen a steady decline in lead times over the past 10 years. And there's a number of reasons for that. One is your technology is easier to apply. You can ramp up to a project much more quickly. But don't underestimate the importance of the Gen Ys. You've got Gen Ys in your marketplace, in your clients, and in your company, and they think in much shorter lead times. So one of the dialogues that you're going to have to change in your organization is, how long does the lead time need to be? What is last minute? And I talk with my clients all the time about redefining last minute in your organization so you can get some of the negative energy out of your organization and you can respond more quickly to things. Changes in the hiring segment. There's this overall lack of qualified middle management, and I think that's very telling. You know, when the economy is going up and when the economy is going down, you see a lot of movement in the job market. You see people, going from company A to company B to take advantage of that change. But now we're seeing steady economy, which means we're going to see steady growth and people are going to settle in for the ride. It's harder to find the people that you need. Good news is you downsized, you restructured your company, and you're more efficient and you're running with fewer people. The bad news is when you do need new folks, they're probably not going to come from the industry. You're going to have to learn how to work with and how to embrace folks from outside your industry. Now, what else is going on here? Renewed interest in long-term contracts. I think this is very interesting because contracts all but went away between 2008 and 2011 or 12, and now they're back again. And they will go away again, but as long as customers are asking about them, and they're actually asking for fairly long contracts, and from what I'm seeing, 2 to 3 years, let's take advantage of it. Let's think about how we can do that, but you have to sell differently, okay? Do not backload a contract in favor of the client. The tendency is to go, 3-year client, 3-year project, I'm going to give you the best deal in the 3rd year, okay? Or I want the best deal now. I like to backload contracts as much as possible, okay? I want them to pay now and give them the advantage in the long term. Stick with me for 3 years and you'll see some pricing advantages, okay? But I want you to be a good client right now, and I want us to be a good partner right now. So you're asking yourself, what can I do with all this information? What can I change about my company or work on during the next few months? I've got a quick list for you. Here's what I think is important based on what we're seeing in 2014. Number 1, create and stick to a budget. You need fiscal budgets, you need capital budgets. Budgets are very important tools to help keep you on track. I've got a motto, and my clients have all heard me say it many, many times. You make a plan so that you can change it. 2014 is a growth year, it's an ongoing growth year, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be dynamic. Things are going to change, and a budget keeps us grounded in what we intended to do. It doesn't mean you can't change the budget, but at least we'll know what we're changing. Item number 2, in your organization, redefine last minute. If you think an event that's planned 3 weeks out is last minute, you need to change that, and you need to change that right away because it's going to get shorter and shorter. Figure out how to do it successfully in 3 weeks, and then figure out how to do it in 2 weeks, and then figure out how to do it in 1 week. Change the dialogue so that we're not chasing business away by looking scared when our clients come to us with what they believe are very reasonable requests. Your Gen Ys don't understand why it takes 6 months to plan an event. Item number 3, to get through this economy, and this is a good economy, we need outside expertise. We're running out of veteran AV people or whatever your profession is. You're going to have to bring people in from other industries who have skills and expertise that will adapt to the way that you do things. You can't just continue to do things the way you always have. Our workforce is getting rather old, a little bit long in the tooth like myself. We need to figure out how to use younger people who didn't grow up in this industry. So think back. There was a time when you didn't know anything either, and you figured it out. We can bring new people into the industry and figure that out as well. So those are 3 pretty darn big things to do, but they're very worthwhile doing. But if you need a little help with that, we've got some additional resources to help guide you through that, and I hope you take advantage of them. So I hope you're enjoying this video series. We're having a lot of fun doing it. Don't forget to share what you've learned with your team.